Are you seeking a better way to accelerate your sales, to scale your business, to live a life with no limits? Accelerate Sales Podcast features global experts who have cracked the code to recurring revenues with proven sales systems and get you on the fast track to scaling. Now let's accelerate your sales with today's episode.
Hello, I'm Paul Higgins and welcome to the Cloud Consultant Solo Show, episode number 455. Today's topic is behind the scenes of mentoring a cloud consultant. If it's your first time, welcome. I share my learnings from scaling and selling a cloud consulting business and mentoring hundreds of other cloud consultants. The show typically goes for about 10 minutes. You can check out past shows, just search Cloud Consultants Show and check out the interview shows as well. If you love what you hear, please subscribe. If you're a regular, thanks for your support. Please email me at paul@paulhigginsmentoring.com to let me know you listen, and also let me know what topics you would like me to cover as well, because otherwise there's no way of knowing that you listen. And before I start, I'd like to talk to you about the world's only revenue-focused community for cloud consultants, peers collaborating to help you to run a better business. Less technical, more biz. And I always say, if you've got a question, we can get it to you faster than Google or YouTube. So why don't you try us out? Go to cloudconsultantscollective.com to join for free today. So I was at the gym the other day, and I wanted to be moved from more supportive weights to free. Anyway, long story short, I think if you're a regular listener, you know that I've had several operations and my core isn't great, so I wanted to be supported, but now it's getting better. And I went and grabbed a personal trainer and asked her if she could help. She asked me what I was looking to achieve, which I was impressed. Right? She actually took a step back rather than just rushing and doing it. And I said, I wanted to do it for golf, and these were the reasons. And then she said, well, what are you currently doing to work on this particular exercise? And I showed her. And then she also asked me how committed I was to the training, so how often I'm going to do it, etc. And after getting all of that information, she then gave me one new exercise to do. And she went and demonstrated it. And then she got me to basically teach her. So she followed what I call the I, we, you, where she does it, we do it together, and then I have to do it and train her. And it was fantastic. She was really, really good. And I'm going to go and be a client of hers of how good she was. But the principle was that it was very similar to what I do with mentoring. And I want to briefly cover how I mentor and how you can try it for free yourself at the end of the podcast. But before I continue, I'd like to talk about our Scaling Blueprint for Cloud Consultants. It's an ebook from my experience scaling and selling and mentoring and coaching others. You, in short, can compare what your business model is and your sales engine and your team to what we recommend. And you can get it at paulhigginsmentoring.com/blueprint. So people ask me the difference between a coach and a mentor, and I know it's sort of splitting hairs in some occasions, but let me just give you a brief analogy. So I am a qualified coach. I did that when I left corporate, and I've mentored, lots of people in my corporate life, which was, over 18 years, and also now I do it for a living, right? So I'll use an example to explain it because I think that's probably the easiest, and, split or try to help with splitting of those hairs. So the coach I was always told that holds a glass in a different way. So as an example, you as the coachee has the liquid, right? So you've got what's inside. It's all your knowledge, your experience, that's what's inside. And then the coach just says, well, hang on, what about if you looked at it this way? Or have you, what would your partner say, business or life, when you said this, etc.? What you're trying to do is get the coachee, the person who's being coached, to see things in different perspectives, but you're not sharing any knowledge, right? That's what pure coaching is. And mentoring to me is actually knowing which glass to use on the right occasions, right? So you are actually sharing your experiences. And to be honest, both are used by me all the time, right? So I use what's called the GROW model for coaching. You may be familiar with that, but then, as a mentor, I know, which lever to pull at the right time. And, I really like to share my experience, so that's why I call myself a mentor from, selling and scaling my own business, because I think, it's hard if it's hard just to sit there and expect someone to have the answer in their glass when, clearly they haven't been there before. So what are some of the steps? I'll just quickly run through them of how I mentor. So the first one is step one is trust, right? So a mentor and a mentee relationship is fundamentally built on trust. So to gain trust, it helps us see what is behind the guard, right? We all put boundaries up. We all say things, how's your business going? Oh, it's fantastic. It's great. Where you've got a severe cash flow problem, right? Or whatever the issue is. So I ask questions to dig into what really drives them. So why do they want to make this change? And what will that change? How will that impact their lives? How will it impact the lives of the family? How will it impact, everybody else as well? And it's also really good to know the family, because the family are directly impacted by the changes that are going to be made. And also the great thing is they benefit from the changes, right? So that's the first one, trust. And it works both ways. The second is honesty corner, right? So we do a diagnostic to benchmark what is working well at the moment, so we want to keep that going. What isn't working that well? Why? How do we change it? And most importantly, what can be added, right, from my experience? So we look at that and we benchmark against the blueprint. So once again, you can get that at paulhigginsmentoring.com/blueprint. And then we sort of look at the blueprint, and also the diagnostic covers three key areas: business model, sales and marketing engine, and high-performing team. Because I think if you get those three things right, all the little rocks fall into place. And there's really two key focus areas that I look at when I go this diagnostic. One is the financials, and the other is the ideal client profile. So financials don't tell white lies, right? But as owners, we do. We always want to put on a better face. Things are brighter. Things are much greater than what they are, but the financials don't lie. So I always look at that, and there's always upside in cutting costs, but it also really shows us what we've got to do to drive more revenue in the business, which, is often not as obvious, especially when you say, I'm making all this profit. It's great. But how much are you paying yourself? How much are you saving for tax? What are your distributions going back to your trust? All of those things we cover. And then the next one is your ideal client profile, right? It's the hardest decision in business to make of who you're going to represent versus who you're not. Right? Because you will always let people down when you make that decision, right? But it's the best decision you can make to really scale, in my opinion, a cloud consulting business. And also, once you get that right, everything else follows, okay? So far we've covered step one is trust. Step two is honesty corner. Step three is focus, right? So we set a 90-day plan coming out of the diagnostic and the key strategies that we're going to go and implement, right? And they're strategies, not tactics. Now, there's some minor stuff that happens, but we've got to make 3 fundamental changes a quarter to your business, or in 90 days is the new vernaculum, to really make a difference. And what we do is review those weekly with me, and also you share those with your team as well, right? Because you've got to get your whole team on board. And it's incredible just how often the plan sits in the owner's head and it's not shared. And the change is going to be hard, as I said, but ultimately the harder changes lead to a simpler business model, right? Because most of us, including when I ran my own cloud consulting business, just overcomplicate the hell out of things. And it's not by choice. It's just sometimes that's how it's evolved, but it's a great chance to review it. So step 3 was focus. So once again, step 1, trust. Step 2, honesty corner. Step 3 is focus, and step 4 is accountability, right? So this is where we have weekly calls, and I go through the same thing each time, and it gives structure to allow for freedom, right? So I love Macquarie Bank in Australia used to have a thing called freedom within a framework, and I think it plays out that way. So first we discuss your wins, right? Because wins are what fuels success. Success makes things more enjoyable. So we do that. Then what are your new deals on the table and how you're closing them? Because I'm always amazed at how much us as business owners don't spend enough time on generating new business, right? There's money sitting there, just sitting there right in front of us, and we don't pick it up. The next is existing clients. What are you doing to actually have more campaigns for existing clients, right? Then the third is your plan. So review exactly what decisions you've progressed against those 3 key items for the 90 days. And then you'll always have 3 action items that we've agreed to at the end of the call. And when my coaching hat comes on, it's like, okay, I'm going to hold you accountable for that. So I mentioned that grow model before, and the W is, how am I going to hold you accountable? What are you going to do? We always take notes, so I always take notes so you can go back and review, and we've got the calls recorded as well, right? So that's step 4. So once again, step 1, trust. Step 2, honesty corner. Step 3, focus. Step 4, accountability. And the last is step 5, which is I call unfair advantage, because that's why you're coming and getting mentored by me, or you're getting mentored by someone else. And you're already busy, right? So what I don't want to do is give you more work. So we've done this enough time now that we can get my team to help your team. And that's hugely successful. Instead of you being the middle person, we remove you because we build up enough trust, and then we get someone else to help. Then the other one is the framework. So we've already got things that we know work, playbooks. We've got a LinkedIn playbook that we know works 90% of the time. So you just get that, right? It's an unfair advantage because you don't have to spend the 4 years, and I'd hate to tell you how many, countless hours and then the dollars invested in doing that, right? So we give you that as an example. And we've got about 104, I think, frameworks that are used when you need them. Then experts, right? I collect experts. I've got over 600 of them. And what I do is collect experts that are only for cloud consultants, right? And they've been proven, they've been used, proven, and trusted. And the last one is my network, right? I open doors for you to give you that unfair advantage. That's the benefit of me saying that I'm only going to work in this industry, and that's all I'm going to do. Is I've got a lot of connections and networks to open doors. So as the African proverb says, go fast alone, or you can go fast together. And that's what I think mentoring is. And a mentor should help you make life-changing decisions based on their experience and taking your personal experience into account as well. And like to experience a free strategy session where I'll take you through that diagnostic, but most importantly, give you 3 key things to do for the quarter. Just book a call at talkpaul.com. We'll meet. And if you already know you, that's fantastic. It'll be pretty easy. But if I don't know you, I'll get to know you because I want to know that it's the right investment of your time to go through and actually do that free strategy session before we proceed. So it's talkpaul.com. So key actions, look for a mentor, right? It's too hard doing it by yourself. And the second, if you want some help from me, who's a specialist for cloud consultants, book a call at talkpaul.com. Please follow me on LinkedIn to get content specifically for you as a cloud consultant. If you know someone, please share this with them. They will think you're a rock star. It might be exactly what they want. If you're a cloud consultant, please join our free community at cloudconsultantscollective.com, and please take action to scale quickly with less effort to enjoy life more.
I'm fired up after today's episode. What about you? But hey, before you go, learning is just one piece of the puzzle. Now it's time to put today's strategy into action. Head over now to today's show page at paulhigginsmentoring.com/podcast and share how you'll put it into action. Be sure to head over to your favorite podcast platform and subscribe, rate, and review the show. Tell me what your favorite episode is. And don't wait 1 minute more to gain access to your pulse check at paulhigginsmentoring.com. This could be the difference between struggling to get more leads and making this next quarter your best one yet.